All right, let's turn to some volleyball. BYU is 3-1. If we get the coach's attention, come on over, Shawn. Cougars are 3-1, ranked number 9 in the country. Lost at number 15 Lewis 3-2. Beat number 10 Loyola Chicago 3-2.
This is casual. I like this.
Some big road battles.
That's the fun part.
We were just saying, we'll let you get those headphones on.
Okay.
This week at Santa Barbara, Friday and Saturday.
I don't know what's in this box, but I'm just going to let people see what this.
That looks cool.
That's cool.
We don't come empty-handed.
This is awesome.
We were just saying earlier in the show, is being the men's volleyball coach the coolest job on campus?
Oh, easy. Hands down. Yeah. I mean, if I'm not I guess if I can't be Brian Santiago, just,
because just is in charge of everything.
He's going to hear this down the road.
Yeah, he's going to hear knocking.
If I can't be Brian and getting to partake in all these wonderful events, then why not be Shawn Olmstead?
Well, we were thinking about it, and we talked about this with you last time you were here. There's a cool element about volleyball. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's no beach at the Smith Fieldhouse, but volleyball came from the beach.
Yep.
Most of your teams from California, Vegas,
warm places, right?
Warm places, and there's a vibe around that sport in there.
Oh, 100%. It is kind of that laid back lifestyle, that you go back to the, where the sport comes from and where it flourishes, and on the beaches of California, the Hawaii, countries like Brazil, right. And it is just kind of a lifestyle. It's, take the volleyball down to the beach. That's what I did, and that's where Heather and I came from, is we were on the beach every day, just with our family, with our friends. We would spend all day, and the sun would go down. We'd grab our stuff, and we were lucky to just walk home. I'd ride my bike or my skateboard, and mom and dad still lived down there, and that was the lifestyle. And that's very common down in Hermosa Beach, Manhattan Beach, San Diego. And so you get so many, it's of course grown, the sport's grown, but it is a very just low-key, laid-back.
Has that helped create that atmosphere at the field house? Because the students are from all those places.
Yeah.
And they pack it.
100%. And they're just, I think that is something to say with their personality, who our players have been, and their interaction with everybody, with you guys, with the fans, and people appreciate it and enjoy it. And, we were just back there chatting right now about the interactions they've had with some of my guys, and he's mentioning just the wonderful people that kids like John Stanley are, the Will Stanleys, Mix, and you can go on. And I comfortably can say that our guys can walk into any place, and within a matter of minutes, I'm getting people coming and just saying, wow, your guys are awesome. And I think most BYU athletes, let's be honest, I think there's something about them.
The level of athlete at BYU in terms of their person, who they are and their character and all that is like off the charts. It really is.
For sure.
Especially so in volleyball. It's an interesting thing, just an observation. You tell me if I'm way off on this or if this is on. The nature of the origin kind of the sport that you just described, it makes for, so you go down to the beach and you play all day long. So it's not like there's not like hours and hours and hours of time that's committed to getting good in the sport.
Yeah.
Yet everybody I ever meet that's in volleyball, even at the highest level, they all just seem like they just love the game. Like it's not work, even though it's hours and hours, and it takes great dedication to be really good. They never feel like they're working, putting those hours in, because they love it so much. Is that off the mark, or is that true?
No, I think it's true, because look at this. It's an activity that you can take to the family reunion. And we can play that up Provo Canyon, Rock Canyon Park. We have the summer reunion, and we're going to take a volleyball and we're going to throw up a volleyball net, and we've got the coolers on the side. And so it kind of lends itself to that. You're going to put in work. Our guys, we put in work, but that it's almost more of a lifestyle sport, right? And we're not going to throw on the football pads and say, hey, we're going to go to the beach the whole day and knock on each other and just play. Because, the football players are going to go do what? They're going to go surf. They're going to go, do those. Any person's going to. And, but volleyball kind of finds itself there. Even basketball, it's a sport. Yes, people are going to play pickup. But how often do you see that being played nonstop all day at a family reunion type of event or a get together?
It's good stuff.
So true.
Well, I've got to ask though. You won a national championship, right, at BYU?
You did.
Okay.
You won.
No, I did.
You won 2 of them.
Well, I know. That's what my point was.
Hey, by
if
the way,
I won
there's a couple of national
2 to 1.
champs.
That's what I just heard. 2
champs
to
in the
1.
house, man. There's a couple of.
I just want to know. I mean, I won 2. Can I take my shoes and socks off?
Oh yeah, I never
Blaine?
wear. Like
for
sometimes
the
we,
love.
sometimes we get.
I just wanted. I just was wondering.
There's a, like
You've got one, I got 2.
Everybody that watches knows they're like, it's winter, and I go, I don't wear shoes on this show.
I love it.
And that's, we're trying to create more of a volleyball vibe on the show.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
It's
with
like
it.
you go barefooted. Like you
sure.
can take your shoes.
I would have come in my
you
board
got some good
shorts
sneaks
and
on.
yeah, no,
like what are those
always.
sneaks?
These are the Nike Trail.
they're
That's
Nike
all I
Trail.
wear.
So you got good sneaks on, but
Yeah.
but you can always come on this show with hoodie and no
There we go.
no shoes and socks. Absolutely, that's what the show's about.
Speaking of your national championships,
Yeah.
2001, 2004, those 2 teams, since we were last together, were put in the BYU Hall of Fame this
Yeah.
last fall.
Yeah,
what
so
a
fun.
night that was.
Oh,
You were the
man.
libero on both those teams. What did it mean to you to be enshrined like that with those teammates?
Yeah, I can't take credit for being the libero in the 2001 because I wasn't, and that goes to Fernando Pessoa, one of our Brazilian All-Americans.
You were libero in 4?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And we. It's funny, we were just at Lewis, let me back up, and we lost in 03 in 5 sets in the finals. Not many people remember that. I mean, maybe they do, but it doesn't get talked about enough. And I think within a matter of weeks, they got stripped of that national championship. So I'm just saying it should have been 3.
Really should be 3.
No.
But they don't do that. Why don't they strip them, but they don't give it to you?
It's okay. It is what it is. But man, what a great night.
Yeah.
And it was really, really, really important for me to get all of Carl's family here. Carl, his wife, Susan, was there, and Paul and Chris were there. It was awesome that we got Hugh McCutcheon to get out here, because that's, we were lucky. He's retired now from coaching, but he stayed at Minnesota as an actual, he's in that athletic administration, but I'm sure they're, Hugh's amazing. He's brilliant. So I'm sure they're just using the heck out of him. He's some sort of I think it's a great position, especially for Hugh and what he's done. He's like a coach mentor for the coaches at Minnesota. So he moved into that administration role. So we were lucky to get him because normally he'd be in season.
Yeah.
And, Ryan Millar and,
loved watching Ryan play.
Steve Hines and Matt Olson, Mac Wilson, Scott Bunker, just so many of the guys could come. And it was a bummer that, they're always going to do it during football season.
Right.
Because we even talked to them when they told us, hey, we're only inducting these teams, no athletes. I said, all right, we've got so many great alum that were part of those teams that won us that are coaching.
Yeah.
Is there any way we could do the banquet during our season? I actually proposed to him doing it next weekend when we have Irvine here.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And, just think, hey, let's think outside the box. And I understand that they couldn't. I totally respect that they always do it in the fall. But it would have been even, we would have had even more there than we did. But either way, it was awesome, and it was a great time.
It was nice to have the 2 teams out in front of 60,000 fans.
And I think that's
that was cool.
the beauty of it is when you get that many fans live, 60,000 plus.
All 3 teams.
To really
99,
honor.
01, and 04.
It's a pretty special night. So I get that they want to do that. But
Yeah.
but to have more folks there. Yeah, Sean's team's in the Hall of Fame. My team's in the Hall of Fame as well.
There we go.
So we have that in common. So he absolutely can go barefoot anytime he wants.
I can. Next match, barefoot.
So with that experience, 01, 04, and a de facto national championship in 03.
Yeah, we'll give you that one.
Yeah, we're giving you
And
that
now
one.
it's
There we
3 to
go.
1 over
There
there.
we go.
So 3 to 1.
What kind of impact does having that experience as a player have on you that helps you now as you're coaching these young athletes and trying to go out and do that again?
Yeah, I think I talk with the guys all the time that, hey, if these are your goals, if this is what you want to accomplish, then, hey, my assistant coach, lost in an NCAA final. Devin did when he was with Taylor Sander and Chris was coaching him. So, very close. There's something to be said about someone that knows what it takes to win. That's to win a national
to win that many in a row, right?
And I tell teams all the time, hey, if that's going to be your goal, once you make that decision, guys, this is going to be hard.
Yeah.
There's going to be hard conversations. There's going to be hard, moments and wins and losses and
injuries.
All of that, because that's all part of it. And sometimes I believe that kids, in anything, sometimes it's just, the goal's this, the goal's that. Like, okay, do you really know what that means? And so I try to tell the guys, like, hey, I'm all on board. Like, let's go. I'll roll up the sleeves. I'll stand shoulder to shoulder. I'll go in. I'll go head first into the brawl. I'll lead the charge. But you have to understand that it's just really, really hard. And it takes, being aware of so many things that at times, again, we just set that goal. And then you believe you're working towards that goal. But any team that wins a national championship in any sport, it is a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And, we've been right there. So I've had the teams that have been there and been capable to compete for national championships. And so it's, to answer that question, I think it's great to have a coach that says, okay, we did it. Now, what did that mean? What were the dynamics of the guys? What did that mean with guys that wanted to be starters and couldn't be, and coming off the bench? And there's it's just so many dynamics.
And people forget. I know you don't forget because you experienced it. People talk about those seasons. They remember all the highlights. If you didn't play, you remember the highlights. And you remember how good that team was and how many they won. And you remember that they won the national championship. Very rarely they remember, like, man, we were so lucky. Like, I think back to 84. Oh, man, we were so lucky to get out of that game with Wyoming.
Like 4 or 5 of those games.
How did we pull that thing out?
100%.
In the end. Because we were really fortunate because we did not play well. But I remember this guy did this and this guy made a crazy play. I think back to Hawaii, and it's like, man, we're going to lose this game. They're going to score from the 1 yard line. Oh, no, Kyle Morrell is going to leap over the line of scrimmage and tackle the quarterback going over the top of his head from the backside and make a play. And there's so many struggle points in a season that ends up with a national championship.
Absolutely.
And most people, everybody remembers the Kyle Morrell play because it was so.
Yeah.
But there were so many Kyle Morrell-like plays throughout that season that nobody remembers, but we all do. And I'm certain that in your national
100%.
championship seasons, you remember those moments where it's like, well, this had to happen, and we had to grind on that, and we had to get a little lucky on this one, and you remember them all.
Yeah.
Does that help to be able to remind the guys as you guys are on that quest again?
Yeah. I believe so, and I look back to my senior year, and everyone knows that, okay, we won. Handful of people are going to remember that it was in Hawaii. Another handful of people are going to remember that it was against the 4th time we played Long Beach State that year.
Yeah.
That, and then a handful of people are going to, know, man, it went 5 sets. It went overtime. We were down 10-6 in the 5th set. You don't make that up in men's volleyball. We were down 12 or 13-9. I got to remember that. 13-9 in the 5th set.
Coming back from that just doesn't happen.
No, it does not. Long Beach State had brought out all the boxes, the NCAA. True story. Brian Santiago was there with us. They NCAA president brought their boxes with Long Beach State, started opening. It was over. But a lot of people don't know that we started that season 0-2. We went to Pepperdine, just got smacked. 3-0, 3-0. Nobody knows that. Yeah, national championship team. But those were the discussions that, hey guys, don't get rattled. Like this is a grind. This whole thing, like you said, all those games and all those matches. And so I do remind those guys. I try not to do it all too often because I think it just gets, here goes the old guy's just talking about himself. Here we go, Blaine.
Bringing out the rings.
Uncle Rico, like, hey, look, see that mountain over there in 1984. I could, so I try not to, but I do. If there's moments that I believe are applicable, of course, you've got to use them.
I love it.
BYU men's volleyball head coach Shawn Olmstead is on the Wise Guys tonight. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com. Before we talk about this team, we love this team.
Yeah.
We want to find out how much you love this team. But what kind of volleyball player would Puka Nacua have been?
Oh, man. Really,
he
really good.
He'd be one of your shorter guys.
No.
Just in his
Here's what
athleticism.
Here's what he would be. almost very similar to our John Stanley right now. Where Puka Nacua don't get me wrong, I don't need any beef with him. But he's going to walk into a football stadium, and you can't tell me that 6 months ago, let's line up all the wide receivers in the NFL. How about that? Okay,
how does he even look?
Exactly. Yeah. He ain't going in the top. I don't know how many wide receivers there are in the NFL. He went in the 5th round,
for Pete's sakes. He's the best rookie receiver in the history of the game.
Who's going to pick him? What NFL coach is going to go that guy? Like, seriously, guys. Sure. And that's John Stanley. John Stanley's going to walk in the gym, and no one's going to go that guy. But what he does is over time, you see that Puka, everything he does is a positive effect on the team. And so John Stanley does that. Like, he's not superimposing. We've got guys that are 6'9", 6'8", that are just built. But John, we see time and time again that his touches are positive. We score points. We go, we keep all these coaches. We all keep stats and we know what's going on. We see that when he's involved, things for us are on the positive side. We score points more. We side out more, all these kind of things. And so Puka would be very similar to that. I think he's not going to freak you out when he walks in. Okay, but he's going to go and do a wonderful job with great energy. And also, guys, he is going to get, this is what Puka does, from what I know, everyone is going to want to be around that guy.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And that's the same with John. Everyone wants to be around John. Everybody. And so I think Puka does the same.
He's like we call him glue players. We call culture players.
Yeah.
And they're also talented. Like, because you can play in your team, you got to have talent. Puka's got to have talent.
Of course.
But they're guys that make everybody around them better, and they're invaluable. Yeah, that's awesome. When we talked to you last year, you're like, well, we're going to be good, but we're really, really, really young.
Yeah.
But this next year, which is now, when we get a bunch of these guys back, we're going to take a big step forward. It's still early, obviously, but how are you feeling about that progress?
Oh, I still feel the same. We had a loss on the road. We were, just to Lewis on Saturday night.
15th ranked.
13.
And Lewis has been good for a long time.
No, Lewis is
very good program.
Look, we were just talking there. Their ranking isn't fair. I think they are very, very, very good, actually. And that'll play out because the people that are looking go, oh, they lost on the road at Penn State in 5. They lost to UCLA at home, but people don't know that they in every category, they beat UCLA in that match. And UCLA, the 3 sets that they won had to go into overtime. And all of those 3 sets, they only beat them by 2 points. It was 25-23. The other ones were 28-26, 28-26. That's the number 1 team in the country is UCLA.
Right.
Yeah. And Lewis was right there, and they beat us, and so now they've got 1 win. And so people just naturally are not going to rank them accordingly, even though the rankings don't matter to me. I know how good Lewis is. They had a second set, 18-10. We came back, lost 25-23. That's remarkable. Then we rolled. Sets 3 and 4. Right. Like we were winning in the 4 sets 17-5.
Just on fire.
Just rolling. And then, we got up in the 5th set and it was, we had the advantage. We were 12-11, I think, at a time. And just a couple points here, there. And it's kind of how the cookie crumbles, right?
Right. At that level, it's a play here, it's a play there.
It
right?
is.
A couple days earlier, you're at number 10
Loyola
Chicago, and you beat them 3-2.
And we beat them. So yeah, I'm really happy because we played a really good Ball State here at home to open up. 2 wins in a row. And so as we were looking, I would go against anybody right now that said, I think and actually us and Lewis, there's no doubt in my mind because I've looked. And it's there. You can't debate it. We've played the toughest schedules in the country. Yeah. Easy, hands down. It's not even debatable. It's not even close, actually. And so I thought that was all of this is great for us, and it's a part of it. So really, really happy and excited about what we did. And honestly, on Saturday night, we made 3 huge subs that's as a coach, you're like, all right, 1 or 2, but man, I'm going to go 3 guys deep. Those guys changed that. That was when the score was like 17-5, somewhere around there, maybe a little earlier, and boom, boom, boom. So we're talking about 3 guys that can come off the bench, and then they stayed in sets 3 and sets 4. And, you know, one of them actually dealt with a couple issues that I had to pull them out at the end of the 4th, and they were health issues, you know, because I literally just got off the phone with somebody that was calling me wondering why I didn't put that person back in the 5th set. I was trying to explain that, hey, actually he couldn't go back in. And so maybe it would have been different. Who knows? But to be able to have those guys that came off the bench, change things. And now we know a little bit more about our team, not just the guys that started the match, but a handful of other guys that did an unbelievable job coming off the bench.
Let's talk about a few of these guys. By the way, all the home matches are live on BYU TV.
That's right.
The only live BYU sports on BYU TV.
I know. We got it.
We can thank the MPSF and the success that Shawn Olmstead's had, the head coach, on with us tonight. Yeah. Luke Benson, he's 6'7", Newberry Park.
What's his vertical?
He's like Superman.
Yeah,
it's something ridiculous, right?
Yeah, I should know, and I apologize, but he's touching almost up to 12 feet.
That's crazy,
and that's pretty darn athletic.
He's worth going to see by himself
because he's flying through the air.
Yeah.
So what makes him different from the others on the floor, both the opponent and your squad?
No, I mean, the reality is he's been pretty blessed physically. Let's be honest. He's a pretty strong guy. Go look at him, and he works hard at it. And Luke's, you know, that's always stood out. Even when he was a freshman in high school, we saw this athleticism, and he's just grown into his body and filled out it. But he's really, really progressed as it relates to understanding moments and plays. Whereas years before, we saw glimpses of Luke, and it was unbelievable. And here's what the glimpses were last year. Nobody in NCAA volleyball, I don't know the last time someone's served on a radar at 80 miles an hour. And Luke did, and just blew up. The guy couldn't move out of the way, and an ace, and it became this highlight everywhere. But then he would go the next serve and just not so great. Now he's learned, and so he's progressed.
Consistent.
And so, you know, the 80 might come. I bet we don't even see it, but I don't want to see it, if that makes sense.
You want consistency at whatever he can serve consistently, right?
Consistently and tough, which, hey, if you can give us 80, great. But the reality is, and we're keeping this every day in practice, and we're keeping track of mileage, and so that the guys can say, okay, this is that's the one where I can get in over and over again. And so Luke's done that. He's high in aces, very efficient attacking because he's just so big, but he's learned too. Luke he'd get up just as high, but younger Luke would try to just bounce every ball. Now he's learning to hit around the court, and touches come and deflections come. And then the moments where he can get the ball to the floor come, they're always going to be there. But understanding that has been a big thing for him.
I'm amazed at how hard they hit the ball at the net.
Yeah.
And you mentioned his ability to jump, touch 12 feet. For a guy who's 6'7", we do the math, that vertical's got to be through the roof. But it is almost impossible to return. And UCLA's had a guy this last couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
When he's at the net, it's like, oh, that's going to be a point.
Yeah.
The velocity coming off a spike. What is it?
Yeah, same thing up in the 80s, 70s, 80s. Yeah. And it's
and unless you're on top of it, it's impossible, right?
It's hard. You're going to take a shot, and we tell the guys, hey, muscle up. And at times, all they can do is just move their body and try to get a shoulder, try to get a chest in there.
Get it up in the air.
Get it up in the air. Try to, ball nose angles. Carl McGowan used to always talk to us about that.
Get 2 guys on the block and roof the thing, right?
Hopefully, that's where we want to get touches and slow things down, and then maybe we can get a better touch. And because that's the difference between women's volleyball and men's volleyball. I tell everybody, if a women's player misses a blocking assignment, you still got a pretty good chance that you can dig it. You can get in there and go, all right, here we go. You miss it with the guys, it's
no chance.
It's game over. It's game over. And so there's a lot of value in that, and that's where we got to be really, really good blocking.
All right, last question on Luke, and then Blaine's going to hit you up with some other guys. Have you seen, and like the season's young, but you've seen him before, and he's got a lot of volleyball ahead of him, but are there moments when he's at the net flying as high as he flies where you've had tremendous athletes in your program, where you just kind of stop and go, did he just do that?
Yeah. I mean, of course.
Isn't that cool?
There's moments where the guys do that too. And the guys, it happens quite a bit at practice when things come together and there's Luke and you just see him go up and the guys just kind of start chuckling and you just go, oh, geez, like, that's not fair. They're kind of, it's like I did when I played, I'm like, come on, what happened to me? Why am I not there? And so I just had to check myself and remember, I can ball control better than those guys, so I'm going to play.
You're going to set them up.
Yes, yeah. But I mean, there's moments every day in practice that it's not just us. The guys are like, holy crap, like, what do you want us to do, coach, in that moment? I said, no, that's what we want Luke to get comfortable with.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Let's go to Mix.
Okay.
Mix Romanis.
Yeah.
And 6'6", he's a junior from Walnut Creek.
Yeah.
Another California kid. How's he progressing? What's he bringing to this squad?
He's bringing a lot of good experience. And the last 2 summers now, he's been able to return to Latvia. His mom and dad are from Latvia. So Mix has the dual passport. And so that allows him to go and play with that Latvian national team on the international level. And so that's been a really, really good experience for him because he sees volleyball at a whole nother level. And that's what he's done. And so he brings really good experience. He's been in the fire, and so he's pretty comfortable in those situations. But he's learned a lot, and he's continuing to progress and make strides.
I love it. Capono Brown, one of my favorite guys to watch. He's just a lot of personality and a great player. 6'5".
You get him from Stanford, so you get him from a decent program.
Stanford transfer, kid from Honolulu, in his senior year now. He's just really fun to watch.
And he flies around, and he's got if the block messes up in front of you, like you're in trouble with with Capono.
Yeah.
That thing's coming fast, and Capono's not afraid to rip it. And it's lights out. That's could be coming at more velocity than what Luke can generate. He's got a really fast arm. And if you watch Capono play, like you said, people enjoy watching him because when he's attacking or serving, I mean, he's getting his hip, he's getting everything into that, which creates more velocity and thus what we see.
And he always seems like, I mean, all the guys seem like they're having a good time out there, but he in particular to me, and when we've been, he just feels like, I love this. I'm having fun. I'm killing the ball. I'm making it miserable for those guys, and I love it. I love dominating. This is fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Does he seem to have that personality?
Yeah, but he's also, he's a Hawaii kid, and so he's pretty laid back.
Yeah.
He's very laid back. Great student. Obviously, he was at Stanford, but no doubt when it's time to play, and Hawaiian kids, I mean, they've had a ball in their crib, and so volleyball, the outrigger, everything is just a huge part of that culture there.
How about Tion Taylor, 6'6", out of Vegas?
Yeah, I probably talked a ton about him last time. And so I think that right there, we went and did a clinic on Friday night because we played Thursday and Saturday. So they did a big local clinic with all the teams. UCLA was there. We all got a half an hour. So it was cool for the kids. Yeah. There was 100 and something kids there. And so we went over there with our team, and I just said to these kids, I said, hey, if you ever think your time's up or you can't do anything or, I don't know, whatever your goals might be, you got to look at this kid, Tion Taylor. Now, guys, this is a kid that nobody, including me, did not recruit.
Really? Nobody.
He didn't play club on Sundays, so it's hard at those national tournaments. Yeah. He was way into basketball, coached by Noah Hartsock.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And loved basketball.
Was he at Shadow Ridge or something like that?
Whatever. Yeah. You're going to put me on the spot, but one of those. You guys would know. Yeah. And so we knew nothing. Guys, we knew nothing of this kid, but no one did. And we got some film, and when he went on his mission, he reached out to us, but his mother was just persistent, just nonstop. And we still didn't respond until our secretary at the time, back a handful of years, had worked at that same district in Las Vegas for a time, Terry Nita. And so she's like, hey, Shawn, like, I'm sorry to bother. Like, she keeps bothering me because she knew the mom from back in Vegas.
Like, can you take a look at this
She's
kid?
just like, Shawn, just like from me. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I've got the kids' emails. And we just couldn't, there wasn't much. And so then we looked. Then I kept looking again. Then I did make a few phone calls. And there was a couple people where I called and I said, wait, hold on. Like, okay, it's one thing if you can't play volleyball. But talk to me about, I'm seeing something on film that like, the kid looks like a freak athlete. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, yeah. I mean, no, of that he is. And I'm like, okay. So long story short, he had already gotten into BYU on his own.
Wow, which is not an easy thing to do these days.
No, very hard.
Yeah.
He got into BYU on his own. And so, one thing led to another. And we just said, hey, kid, might as well. Like, you're an unbelievable athlete. I like your attitude. I like all these things. I talked to Hartsock and we did all our homework. And so we're like, you're coming to BYU anyways. Come in the gym. We'll put you on an initial roster because you can do that, under the NCAA rules. And we'll see where it goes from there. And it wasn't long before we're like, this kid's unreal. And I mean, then he was raw, but credit to him because he just put his head down, never looked back, unbelievably confident, has become a darn good player that, he's last year he was number 2 in the country in blocking. And we're talking about a kid that all these coaches that know what we're doing recruiting wise, maybe we don't. Because that's something though that unfortunately gets lost too often. And it's hard. We're all trying to find that. How do you, how do
you find that guy, right?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have the exposure.
So you're going to probably ask me what one of my favorite sports movie is. And I don't know if this could be considered a movie, but if you haven't seen The Brady Six, you're missing out.
The Brady Six?
Oh, come.
I've never even heard of that.
I might walk away.
Don't walk away.
I'm writing it down.
Is that got Tom Brady and his 6 Super Bowls, or what are we talking about?
It's the 6 quarterbacks that got picked in front of Brady.
Okay. I had a feeling it had something to do with Tom Brady.
One becomes like this first-round pick or something, becomes a goat farmer, and you got San Francisco passing on. But guys, it's fun.
The greatest player in the history of the game. Right?
It's fascinating because you guys will love it. And you're going to thank me next time you see it.
I'm watching it.
Because all my teams, we've watched it together.
Is it like a Netflix documentary?
Man,
I'll find it.
I burned copies years ago of it.
I'll find
and
it.
handed them out. And
The Brady Six.
At the end of it, it's going like it was like Mariota, who had been fired, and remember could have drafted Tom Brady. Like he got a quarterback in that class, if I'm not mistaken. The 49ers passed on him. Everybody did, but all Brady did was win. He came off the bench at Michigan and won. Yeah. And they still went back to Drew Hansen, right?
Yeah, remember, Drew Hansen was a coach's kid that was really good friends with the Michigan coach. And, like, I have friends that played on that team. They're just like, yeah, Brady was better.
But it goes into all that. And then at the end is one of my favorite lines is like, yeah, I mean, we all screwed up. Yeah. And I lost my job. Like, of
How
course.
did we miss this kid?
And then it goes, hey, here's what happened. We couldn't see that guy's heart. I couldn't open him up and see what that guy was made of.
Have you seen the draft room video of right before the Rams took Puka?
I don't think I have.
Yeah, you Google it and go watch it.
Okay.
Because Sean McVay's going, I'm telling you guys, this kid. He starts talking about him.
Yep.
He's like, nobody understands what this kid brings to the game and how strong he is and how he does this and how he does that. I cannot believe he starts talking about it. This is who we're taking it, and I am pumped. And then they take him in the 5th round.
And not everybody agrees.
And everybody's like, well, maybe it'll be okay.
Yeah.
But Sean McVay was the one guy.
Same thing.
That saw what, like, when you listen to Sean talk in the draft room, they act like he acts like he's getting a 1st-round draft pick.
Yeah.
And so he's the one guy.
Yep. But 100%, we're going to the combine. I mean, what do we get out of the 225 bench press? Like, seriously, guys, what do we get out of it? Nothing.
At the quarterback position?
Nothing.
I think I could still bench 225 more times than Tom Brady.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's Tion Taylor.
Okay, that's good advice. Everybody out there, watch
the
Brady Six. And that's Tion Taylor. And if you get a chance to watch, he's a crazy athletic kid.
Oh, he's an
crazy athletic kid. So
BYU men's volleyball coach Shawn Olmstead hanging out with us on the Wise Guys. 4-time MPSF Coach of the Year, has had BYU in the national title match 3 times. most recently in 2021. What I love about your rosters, there are 4 Las Vegas kids.
Vegas
Taylor,
yeah.
Jackson 5, Jared Brady, my favorite, who I coach in Little League, and Cooper Jarman.
Yeah.
There's something about Vegas. We talked about it last time, but now this is more than any other city in America on your roster.
Yeah.
That Vegas still turning them out?
Yeah, no, 100%. They've been doing, they've been having volleyball at those schools, Palo Verde, Centennial. They've had great athletes in Vegas, and it seems to be growing in Vegas, grows and grows. And so we had Jackson Fife, actually. He was one of those 3 substitutions.
Oh, he was?
I guess with him, libero, you don't have to do an official sub. I think I threw 4. Let me think. 1, 2, 3, 4 new guys.
4 new guys. Wow.
But the libero, you do not have to officially sub. They wear that jersey. He can just go in at any time between rallies. Fife, 100% was a massive part of that change. And he's doing it every day in practice. And we've been playing another libero. And Jackson's, he is like hands down the greatest kid to have on the team. Bar none. He is just an outstanding young man. I don't know what his mom and dad did, but they should write the book as it relates to parenting. That kid looks you in the eye, shakes your hand. He knows when to go reach out to a kid that needs an arm around the shoulder. He knows how to interact with his teammates. And that, again, is the Puka Nakua thing. Like, guys want to be around him. They want to be around him.
Yep.
I don't know the Taylor parents, but I know the 5 parents. I know the Brady parents.
Do you know the 5
Jarmans.
parents? Yeah.
We know the Brady parents. In fact, he was in my when I was serving up on campus in Bishopbrick. Brady was in my ward. What a great kid!
Yeah, awesome kid, awesome family.
Anyway, we're glad you have Vegas kids on there.
It's good. It's good.
Let's talk about the schedule you got coming up. We'll finish up with the head coach. Thanks for being here.
Oh yeah,
we're so glad.
I know we're in the season and all that stuff, but
awesome.
You hit the road for Santa Barbara Friday and Saturday, and then quickly after you get a day off Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday with Princeton on BYU TV. It's unique to have an Ivy League school here on a Monday, Tuesday.
And that's
cool.
And that's, they reached out to me and they said the way their calendar goes, I don't think they start school till a little later. So he does this every year. He's been on the road. Princeton's been on the road since not Sunday, yesterday, because today's Monday, right? So the previous Sunday, he said, text me, Shawn, we're heading out. They will not go home to the East Coast until after their match here. So they've been playing Irvine. They'll stay in California. And so he reached out to me and just said, hey, Shawn, what do you think? I know it's outside the box. And I was like, let's do it. And I had to call BYU and go, our admin, because Monday nights is, they traditionally, but now with the move to the Big 12, we're seeing more and more. We had soccer games on Monday.
Yeah. Hey, there's not a better thing to do on Monday night than take your family to a game.
And BYU was awesome about it. They didn't think twice about it. They were like, great. And it is unique. And guys, this is going to be something we have never done. Today at practice, that was my spiel. Gentlemen, here we go. This is the most unique 2 weeks we've ever been in. Because we're going to go on the road to Santa Barbara. We got to come back, not even be able to practice.
Not on Sunday, yeah.
We can't practice. We can't do anything. I can't have film. I can't do anything.
It's a dead day. It's not only is it Sunday at BYU, but for an athlete, right? Yes. You have to have a down day.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it as well. So you're right. But we can't do anything. I can't do film. I can't do team meetings. I can't do. So we're going to come back and essentially play Monday, Tuesday. And then we're going to go Wednesday, Thursday, and we got a top 5 team in Irvine coming to Provo Friday, Saturday.
You have
pretty wild.
You do have a month-long homestand, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's the genius
so you got
of the
Irvine
strategy.
on the 26th and 27th.
Who gets to be at home a whole month?
And then Long Island on February 8th and 10th. They're going to make the trek out. Grand Canyon is a really good program, the 16th and 17th of February. And then you cap that homestand off with number 1 UCLA coming into the house.
Are they going to still be? Are they good enough to still be number 1 when they come in?
Yeah.
The last UCLA team that I remember coming into Provo number 1 was women's soccer this fall. Oh, yeah, the women took care of them.
Yeah, well, no, they're good. They returned almost, I think, everybody from that lineup that won the national championship last year, which is great. That's exciting.
Yeah, that's fun.
So is it more beneficial to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches or opponents at home over that month, maybe 6, but then you go to Stanford, Pepperdine, get Concordia at home, and then at USC? Is Stanford, Pepperdine, and USC, are they as tough as they've been in the past?
Yes, Stanford's undefeated. USC's undefeated.
So is that brutal?
But that's the MPSF. It's like the Big 12.
Yeah.
I was asking, I was on the phone with Santiago, or I ran into him, and I couldn't remember. And, man, props, by the way, to our basketball program. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, they're playing phenomenal. Yeah.
I remember, my neighbors or my colleagues, we're down at BYU. I'm not going to lie. Like, out of all the teams, it's like, man, basketball's going to the buzzsaw.
It's the biggest jump.
Right. And so, guys, that's credit to the guys, the coaches, Pope. Like, that's unbelievable because, man,
they're playing fearless, and they're and they're more talented than people give them credit for. Mark went and assembled a really group of long.
Exactly.
And Dave and I experienced this during the preseason when opposing coaches were coming in. We'd sit down with the opposing coach, and they go, "Well, first off, man, these guys are so long and so athletic. I mean, they're a typical Power 5 conference team."
Yeah.
And we keep looking at each other, going, "They are, aren't they? Like, they have length, and they're athletic, and they can shoot it, and they can." So, we've talked a lot about it. They've done a phenomenal job. And, hey, in this league,
you don't have to win all the games.
You go 9 and like Kansas won the league last year and was one of the teams that people thought could win a national championship in the last 5 games in conference.
Yeah.
That's how good the conference is.
So that's what I'm getting at. Talking with Brian, I'm like, man, they've done so cool, and I'm so excited. And, their first Big 12 game, I think they lost. And it was like, hey, now this is what is anticipated. I mean, you guys I didn't even realize you got Iowa State here tomorrow night. Like,
yeah, they're number 10.
That's what I'm saying.
It's 2 top 10
gonna have a shot. We're gonna have a great shot, guys.
Actually,
Mark my
number
words.
9, I think, today.
We're gonna fill it up, and I promise you, we're gonna have a killer shot. But here's what I'm saying: is Pope. That's day in and day out. It's very similar in our conference. So
you've been doing this for a number of years in this conference.
When they start complaining to the coaches meetings, I put my feet up on the table. I take my shoes and socks off.
You should.
And I'm like, guys, gosh,
feel bad for you.
What are you guys complaining about?
We've been talking about that a lot this last year because we always talk about men's volleyball, and we say, all teams going to the Big 12, of course, except for men's volleyball, who are already in the best league in volleyball.
100%.
There's no question that the MPSF is the elite league in men's volleyball, right?
Yep. 100%. And so like I said last year, the message does not change. Tom Homo, Brian Santiago, Liz, Shane Reese, President Reese. I know him as Shane, and there's funny stories, but we don't have time. And I've known Shane for a long time. I've known Shane for a long time, and so I screenshotted a few of he and our messages from like 10, 15 years ago, and when he got appointed.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, probably shouldn't expect to get any messages. And they weren't bad. They were just, they were like, like good buddies, right?
Yeah, right.
Like, hey, hook me up with that, like you're my guy, that kind of thing. But we are not on an island of our own. We're every bit a part of what is going on, the movement towards the Big 12. And that's meant a lot to my guys. That's meant a lot to all of us. And they've approached that the right way. And guys, I don't want to be in I'll go to LA and Malibu. How about that? Like you guys, I'm not going to.
And your recruiting bases, Southern Nevada, California, Hawaii.
Yep.
I mean, you get kids from wherever they're at in the world, and it's international as well. But really, you got a lot of kids that want to stay close to home with their schedule in this league.
All right, 2 last questions. We're going to bring you in on our question of the week. But let's finish with this one in regards to volleyball. This is Smith Fieldhouse. What is it that makes it such a magical place for volleyball? It used to be the basketball venue back in the day.
Yeah.
But it feels volleyball. It looks volleyball. The team plays great there. What is it? What's the magic?
I wish I could give you the perfect answer, but I think what's most important is giving credit where credit is due. And those are 2 things. Carl established something very, very exciting to go and participate in, and not taking away from basketball at that time when the early 90s. I don't know. There might have been a couple 1-30 seasons in there for basketball, if I'm not mistaken.
I know there was one.
If I'm not mistaken, but so Carl just put out an unbelievable product. Look at the dynamics of the BYU campus. There is a lot of students from California, from Orange County, from the San Diegos, from the LA area, but this is what I want to say is it was the community. Like They're here. Like those fans, I tell our guys all the time, guys, have you ever like sat and looked at the people that are buying your season tickets? Have you guys, because I have, and I go, man, that person's been here when I was playing. I remember that person in that seat every Friday and Saturday night. So I can't thank the community enough. And it'd be wrong of me to just say it's this or that. And there's a feel like you are there. There's a feel to that place, and when it gets rocking, it's unbelievable.
And we talk about it all the time in the show. We told folks when we were talking about you coming on last week and again this week, if you haven't gone to a men's volleyball game in the field house, you got to go.
Oh, missing out.
Because it's not just a great men's volleyball experience. It's a great college athletics experience. It really is something special.
And people might get mad at me, but I don't think I'll get in trouble. Years and years ago, I was asked by an administrator, I won't say if it was the president or vice president of BYU, about a facility, about this. This was years ago, so nobody needs to start spreading rumors everywhere.
Right.
And I looked them square in the eyes and I said, I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
What's your input, Shawn, on this? And I said, I'd rather stay. And I know that I don't control that. And they're, the Big 12 and facilities, I get all that. But man, I would do anything I could to
How about you just do one thing? How about you get an international squad coming in and you do an exhibition in the Marriott Center and then just see how many people you can get in? So it wouldn't count against your record.
No, who was it that set the women's record?
I think Nebraska.
That was
90,000.
Wow.
That was next level.
That's crazy.
But it's Nebraska. There's nothing else going on.
Guys, Carl did it. They played Long Beach State. And it was 1999, and they set the NCAA men's volleyball attendance record. I could be mistaken, but it was something like 12,000 at the time, which is a lot for men's volleyball.
Sure.
Carl that year was 30-1.
And that was it.
Yeah. Where did that one come from, guys?
Oh, man, let's get back to the field house, baby.
It was at the Marriott Center against Long Beach State. No, now listen, I am playing in 2003. We were probably number 1 or number 2. That year we went to the finals. We have Hawaii here. And we had a great vibe, so people want to be a part of it. And they in the middle of the year, decided to put it in the Marriott Center. We win night 1 against Hawaii. Friday night, we go to the Marriott Center. We break Carl's record, or that 99 team's record. It was awesome. It was rocking. We lost.
No.
So that's why I'm saying exhibition game.
Okay, exhibition. All right. I missed that.
How much fun we could have.
Let's just do an exhibition.
An exhibition against a foreign touring team.
That's true.
Just to see, because now we're in 2024 and your team fills the place every night.
That's true.
And it would give a chance for just, if the whole student body showed up, it's...
Good point.
Anyway,
good point.
So an exhibition.
There we go.
I like that. An exhibition against an international traveling team, and let's just pack 20,000.
There you go.
A lot of comments on our live stream. Michael writes in, as amazing as the BYU athletes are, they would not be that way without the amazing coaches and staff at
said,
BYU.
Michael. Yep.
Oh yeah. It's I mean, I got to speak last week up in Salt Lake with Jen Rockwood, and I just was like, she's sitting with me, and Jen, that's probably my closest, person in the athletic department.
Yeah.
She coached my wife. And so I told the story. I said, in 2000, I was so afraid of Jen Rockwood because I was trying to date her cute little blonde defender.
Yeah.
And oh man, I was so afraid of Jen. And Jen's just out there. And I just said, guys, now she's like my best friend.
Yes.
She's come on the show a couple times, and she's really fun.
Oh,
we
amazing.
we grill her. We're like, how? She just says, guys, I'm just going to say it. Like, she's not afraid of it. She's like,
oh, yeah.
Our bar is, we want to compete for a national championship every year. Like, we were asked her, how are you going to transition to the Big 12? Fine. We're going to go we're going to go try to win the conference.
Come on.
Like, because her whole deal is, we are going to compete for national championships every year, and we're going to own it.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Well, she just put 5 players in the women's national soccer league.
I think it was that night she was telling me, we were talking during the lunch before we both spoke, and she was like, I think she said, I'm hopeful 4 or 5. And so it's not just Jen, but 2 weeks ago, that big snowstorm came in, and I had to leave my house really early in the morning. So I yelled at my son, not yelled. I said, hey, buddy, keep the walks clear of the snow for Mom and the driveway. I get a video that day, and my son was out there. But guess who was right side by side with him?
Yeah.
Chase Roberts.
Chase Roberts.
Because he's my neighbor. He lives right in front of us.
That's
and
awesome.
So I text Kalani. I send the video to Kalani. And Kalani immediately responds, Shawn, man, aren't we just blessed? And what great kids. And so you're right, great coaches. And I can go on and on about every one of them. Bruce. Bruce is my guy. And DJ, we were on the phone today when I was leaving the office, calling Diljit and my sister, my sister, and on and on and on.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you talked her into coming on the show with us, and she was awesome on the show. We're like, come on.
You should have brought me. You needed to have me.
You know what?
No, she was great though. She was
Before
really
next
good.
season, before her next season, let's do that.
Yeah, let's
once
bring
we get
both
into
on.
August.
It'd be fun. We'd
Let's
love
go.
that.
We'll have a good time, and I'll be able to get her to, I'll put her in the spots where she's got to laugh and just go,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that's my
She
brother
was
Shawn,
pretty
and she
great
won't
when
know what to
came
say.
on, but I think she came on and was just like, I don't know about these guys, but then we had a great time.
All right.
Here's the Cougar Board question of the week.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with Cougar Board, it's the largest online community of BYU fans with thousands of posts daily. This question comes from one of their insider subscribers, user Dilbert, and we thought it applied to you too, so we wanted to bring you in on it.
Okay.
Dilbert writes, it was kind of funny seeing Mark Pope take out his frustration on that water bottle in the Baylor game, giving Greg Wrubell and Mark Durant a little shower. What is the craziest or funniest thing you guys have seen on the sideline from a coach or player during a game? So let me ask you, what's the craziest thing you've done as a coach on the sideline? Or as a player that you saw your coach do?
We talked about that, here, like, that's what he did.
Yeah, he just hit it.
And so our guys were actually joking about that. And so the guys asked me, have you broken anything? And I said, I've broken a clipboard, but it wasn't it was like my own clipboard. And I was, gosh, and it was just not well made. And so it just snapped. I didn't chuck it. I've never done that. But this weekend, I couldn't get up fast enough. And so the play was coming. It was a playable ball by our guys off the block. So one of our big guys, Trent, he's 6'9". He's a bulldozer. He's coming right at me. And I tried to push the chairs, and I just went head over. I just went back. I just flew right over. And someone sent me. I could pull that up right now because it was literally just the other day that someone.
So he sent you the video?
Yeah. Like, there you go. So let's see.
All right, now give the play-by-play in your microphone.
All right, sorry about that. So there you can see. I'll rewind it again.
Oh,
so
yeah,
you got Trent. All these texts. Come on, people. So there I am, right there. So there you go.
So on the podcast, if just envision the coach getting wiped out.
He needs to send it.
That's
We'll
what
have
we're
to
doing.
post it.
It's good. It's good. But I don't know. Like beyond that, just the typical things, I guess.
Yeah.
Nothing wild and crazy that I can recall.
Dave Rose had a jacket removal back in the
remember
WCC
that. Yeah.
tournament that
Record setting.
that has not been matched.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever taken a jacket off that fast in the history of
when we
mankind.
get home from church on Sunday, that jacket comes off pretty fast, but it is impossible to do it as fast as he does.
No,
So
that's good.
my crazy one was I was doing a national game for a network, and I was doing a game at Air Force, and Joe Scott was the head coach. Remember this story, Dave? Joe Scott was the head coach.
He talked like a sailor.
Joe Scott was just like he did not hold back with his language, and he admits it, and he's reformed. But
just to set the Air Force, they didn't have a big crowd.
nobody
at the
was
time.
there.
It's
at the
awfully
time.
quiet in those
It
games.
got better. Clune Arena got better. But
We
at
have
this
great
time,
microphones. It was awfully quiet.
There's very few people there.
Oh,
and
no.
they made our position
Oh, no.
on the scores table was right next to Joe. And so I would always get really nervous. I'm like, oh, I don't like this. It's too quiet in here. I don't like being next to Joe. Like, he can hear everything I'm saying. I don't like that he can hear what I'm saying, right? So I'm trying to talk in hushed tones. They're not playing well. And I think they're playing San Diego State, and San Diego State goes down, and they run down, and they get a run out, and then they steal the ball, and they run down, and they get a run out. Like 4 plays in a row, they get layups.
Oh my gosh.
And Air Force's guys, they're not even trying to get back and play defense. So I say as quiet as I can say, I'm like, hey, it's apparent that Joe Scott's about to go out of his mind because his guys aren't even making an effort to get back. I say it just quiet like this. They're not even making an effort to get back and play defense the last 4 times down the floor. He calls a timeout, immediate calls a timeout.
No.
And they come over and he huddles the team up right in front of us. But it's not immediate timeout, so we're still on the air. And just at the top of his lungs, he's like, even expletive Blaine, sitting right here behind me, knows that you guys are dogging it out there. You're absolutely dogging it, and he just pointed it out on television.
Oh, I love it.
And the producer in my ear goes, "Did he just say expletive Blaine?" And I go, "Yes, he did."
Yes, he did.
Like, I put the talk back, I go, "Yes, he did."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Wow. That just went out over the air."
There we go.
And then he sent him back out, and he sat down, and they had a timeout. And he comes over and he goes, "Hey, I'm really sorry about that." I go, "Joe, that went out on the air." He's like, "Oh, dude, I'm sorry about that."
He was a really nice guy, but he'd get in these games and it'd become this thing.
He would
and
go
would tell
nuts.
him, "Look, you can't talk like that."
Yeah.
You can't scream that right into
I will
our
share
mic.
one story, and I won't say who, and I'll be quick. It was in the Smith Fieldhouse. Imagine one of the best crowds ever. I mean, because it was. And it was a rockin'. And the team that came in here, I'll just say they were probably 1 or 2 at the time.
Oh.
We were probably 3 or 4. And so it was just rockin'. And we had really, really good team. I won't give away too much. It was one of the teams that competed for a national championship. I'll say that.
If you give us enough clues, we're going to figure it out.
Yeah, you guys can get it. But some fans brought these like spinning wheels.
Like pinwheels type
Yeah, but
things?
they're just holding them and spinning it, which I don't know. Like, I'll be honest, I don't know if those are against the rules or allowed.
It seems like
Yeah,
they're
I
in the
don't know.
rock
Yeah.
at basketball games.
Okay,
stuff like that.
So they're doing that. No big deal. And this coach, you guys, he's going to have a heart attack. he's going to pass out. His players didn't know what was going on because he was just... The
veins were popping out on his forehead.
So in the middle of the match, this is something I appreciate you guys because it's a cool story. So due to you guys bringing this up, I walk over. I don't call time. I literally walk over to him. Nobody knows what's going on. Everyone's looking at like, what the freak's
why are
going
you
on?
going to talk to
Is
this
there
guy?
going to be a fight? He's like, and I walk over to him and I put my arms on his shoulders and I go, "Dude, take a deep breath. Breathe in. Hey, are you going to be like, what do you need?" Like in the heat of the competition, some people might go, "Oh, you're a wimp. Why'd you do that?" But I was like, no. This guy is going to die. He's going to have a heart attack. We're not going to make it through this match. And I told him, I said, "Dude,
What do you need?"
what do you want me to do, man? Calm, like, take a deep, I told him to his face, "Take a deep breath, man. What do you need? What do you need?" And I went over there, said, "Hey, get those out of there. Just
Take the pinwheels
we're done.
out.
We're done." But yeah, so
Did he
Wow.
survive? He
He
survived?
survived. He said he
Wait,
wouldn't have. He wouldn't have.
After the game, did he go, "Hey, thanks for doing that"?
No, because because
you beat him.
I can't.
I'm
answer
glad he
that
didn't take
question.
a
I'm not
swing
gonna-
at you.
I'm not gonna
Sometimes
say any more
coaches
than
are-
that.
You beat him. You
But
beat
I
him.
walked over there in the middle of the match, and everyone like is our guys, their guys. What is going on? What's going on? So
That's
anyway.
because
Sean,
you're.
it was 2 things. Sean did not want him to have a medical event there because that was not going to be good. And the second thing is Sean knew they were going to spank him in this match, and he wanted the guy to have no excuses.
there you go.
Sean
There you go.
Olmstead, the humanitarian.
Yes.
And very successful volleyball coach. Good luck, Santa Barbara.
Thank you.
Are you going to go back in the old neighborhood when you?
Yeah, I think I'll take the team. I think we've got a meal plan down in Carpinteria.
That's
I think
awesome.
we're doing lunch there when we get there, and then because we don't practice till that evening on the court in Rob Gym, one of the most beautiful places in the world, Santa Barbara,
That's awesome.
hands down. So
You haven't changed any of your 5 questions. Like we don't do a like that yet. Like you haven't changed your breakfast cereal, have you?
no, I think it was Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, okay.
We
I just want to make sure that you're still staying true to who you are.
yeah.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Monday night, a week from tonight, will be family home evening at the Smithfield House against the Princeton
Princeton in the
Tigers.
house.
Live
Yep.
on BYU TV with Jerem Jordan and Steve Vale, and the spotlight will be on the coach. So just getting going with their home schedule. It's the what do we call it? The hottest ticket on
Yep.
campus.
And
the
if you
big
want to see
show.
him beat a bunch of smart guys, come next Monday.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks for being here.
Hey,
And
anytime.
and what's in that
Oh,
box?
yeah. So
What is in that
I
box?
brought-
yeah.
I don't even know. Like, I've got a wonderful director
Is
of
it like
ops,
gonna jump
Aubrey
out?
Rushing.
Yeah,
No,
is
I
this-
just
is
think
this
it's
like
gear that she brought. Like
Oh,
some
my
volleyball
goodness.
stuff. Volleyball,
Look at this stuff.
sweatshirt.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so you guys do
nice.
with it. We got, it's just volleyball stuff. You
Look
guys
at
figure
this.
out what you want to do with it. And
That is cool.
whoever
Sean, and
gets
you
it,
know,
gets it.
I come to matches.
That's
I know.
a great
No, no,
stuff.
And you know when I
I've seen
come,
you guys.
you know
Yep.
where I sit? Do you know
Yep.
where I sit? I sit right behind the service line,
Okay.
right with Bruce Nilsson. I always sit right next to
you're
Bruce
with
Nilsson.
Okay.
Bruce is one of the most loyal
Oh, Bruce.
fans ever.
Unreal.
And
Unreal.
he cracks me up. Like my wife's like, honey, is it embarrassing? I'm like, no, it's hilarious.
It's enjoyable.
Because he's not mean. He stands behind him and he's like, oh my gosh, the net looks like it just went up to 13 feet. It just looks like it's 13 feet.
It's
and he just
exactly
talks.
that. But do you know how many times he's been accused? And it's just funny because it's like, you guys, he has been here again since I played.
Yeah.
He didn't say any, like, it was just good fun. Like, and
He says stuff like,
they call a timeout and they're down.
Whatever you do not focus on the guy in the white hat with the mustache in the third row. Do not focus on him while you're serving, or you'll serve it
like,
long.
gosh.
Whatever you do, don't think about that.
Gosh,
That's what he says.
Your coach just called a timeout. This must be so much pressure that it's now on you to come out of this timeout and make this serve. And people will talk with him.
Yeah.
And he cracks me. He actually cracks me up. But I know he takes their focus away, which is what a great fan does, right? That's part of your home court advantage, right?
I will say this: that I share things that hopefully people enjoy. Maybe I give some insight.
Oh, yeah.
We had a team last year. A good team that were ranked probably at the time in the top 7 or 6. Good team. And they tried to stop. It went 5 sets. We won. They tried to stop and get our personnel to get involved. And I kid you not, the coach said, these guys are really distracting. And so Tom Homo called me that night. And he's like, hey, Shawn, I just want to let you know that everything's good. You know, if you hear something, because it wasn't, hey, something really, really bad or pushing the banner against their
distracting.
feet.
No.
The coach literally said that. And it was like, isn't that the whole point of a home field fans?
At a basketball game, why do we put our student section behind the basket that the visiting team has to shoot in the second half?
Yep.
And right by their bench. And I always have appreciated, even when I was playing, going to a visiting, when the fans do the research, I always appreciated the spectrum in Logan.
Yeah.
Utah State fans,
I
when I
worked
broadcast,
there. I go to those games. I worked there. I coached there. I loved it.
And they would.
Oh, so good.
As long as they didn't cross over the line, they were just creative, and I would enjoy it as a player. I'd be like, 100%. Oh my gosh, these guys have put in some work. This is awesome stuff.
We
right?
So there's my props for Bruce. Let me get that in there. He's awesome.
He's very thoughtful with his way he distracts.
Yep.
This is awesome stuff.
Some fans before one of our Big 12 football games, they were here to go to their first game at the football stadium, and I was talking to them about what they could expect. They were overcome by the mountains and everything. And I said, well, here's the thing. The crowd's going to be into it. They love it. They'll get after, they'll make more noise, and there's a really good chance you're not going to hear a single swear word tonight.
Yeah.
And they're just like,
100%.
What?
100%.
And then it's true.
Yeah.
And by the way, they're all sober.
Yeah,
and
100%.
Welcome to our world.
Yes.
And it's awesome.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing. Hey, I'm going to do something else. I literally just took the tag off this today. So I'm going to leave this hoodie.
Oh, man.
It's
We're going to freeze on the way home.
It's 6 degrees outside.
None. My car's right there. Come on.
Well, it is right there.
I literally took the tag off this because on Thursday night, we had a cool thing. We had a ton of these fans that came.
Yeah.
BYU fans to Chicago. And there was just one fan, and he's holding up Y flag, and I'm walking out, and I took off that sweatshirt. So this is brand new. I took the Nike tag off minutes before I got in my car because I needed to get another hoodie I gave. But I love this hoodie. We just got
love how it has the VB on the side.
I'm going to leave it for, you guys can Rochambeau or whatever. It's an XL.
That's awesome.
Or we give it to a fan.
Yeah. Hey, should we give it to a fan?
No, let's keep it for ourselves. You crazy?
There you go.
What are we talking about
here?
That's awesome. I love this. I love that on the shoulder, shoulder patch.
I do want to take credit that I designed this hoodie. I just love that
old school.
It's old school.
That's what I wore back in the old days, right?
But we just don't do that anymore. So I was so pumped when we got those. So there you go.
Thanks for coming and spending a lot of time with us tonight. And we excited to have you back.
Which is just above and beyond, Shawn. We love it.
You guys are amazing.
We love following the team, and we love supporting that team.
Okay, we'll see you with your tan home from Santa Barbara Monday.
Hopefully not tan. We got work to do, and the guys know that. That's the rules. We'll put our toes in the water, and then we'll get back to work.
You don't have to be out that long to get a tan.
No, that's true.
Just make sure, since we're not going to get any tans up here, get something.
With this base, I don't need a sunburn.
yeah, be careful with that.
Yeah.
Shawn Olmstead,
Thanks,
head
Shawn.
volleyball coach on the Wise Guys.
Thank you,
just
guys.
great. Thanks. And you can just put the headphones on and walk out of
Go
here.
Cougs.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks, Shawn.
Okay.
Santa Barbara this weekend, and then Princeton Monday and Tuesday.
All the gear right
They're
here,
home for like
baby.
a month and a half. So the Smith Fieldhouse is where you want to go for an opportunity to experience men's volleyball.